Ever heard the story of how a small team of Navy SEALs took on a fleet of nearly 100 cartel speedboats and won? It sounds like something straight out of an action movie, but this incredible event actually happened. This is the story of Operation Enduring Friendship, a mission that pushed the limits of naval special warfare and showcased the sheer brilliance and bravery of the U.S. Navy SEALs. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button for more quick updates and trending world news. Your support means a lot. The story begins in the vast, open waters of the Eastern Pacific. This area, often called the narco superhighway, is a notorious route for drug cartels smuggling massive quantities of narcotics from South America to the north. For years, U.S. and allied forces have been playing a high-stakes game of cat and mouse with these well-funded and ruthless organizations. But in the early 2000s, the cartels got smarter, faster, and more aggressive. They started using swarms of small, high-speed boats, often called go-fasts or pongas, to move their illicit cargo. These boats were difficult to detect, incredibly quick, and often traveled in large groups for protection, overwhelming any single patrol vessel. The U.S. Coast Guard and Navy were facing a serious challenge. Intercepting one or two of these boats was one thing, but dealing with a swarm was a whole different ballgame. The cartels were winning the numbers game. Every time a shipment was stopped, two more would get through. They needed a new strategy, a way to level the playing field and hit the cartels where it hurt most: their logistics. This is where the Navy SEALs come in. Known for their ability to operate in any environment and think outside the box, they were the perfect tool for this unconventional problem. The mission, codenamed Operation Enduring Friendship, was greenlit. Objective was bold: to intercept and neutralize a massive flotilla of cartel go-fast boats that intelligence suggested was preparing for a major smuggling run. We're not talking about 5 or 10 boats. Intel reports indicated a staggering number, nearly 100 of them, all congregating in a remote coastal area, preparing to load up and dash north. A direct conventional assault was out of the question. It would be too risky, too loud, and the cartels would simply scatter, only to regroup later. The SEALs needed a plan that was stealthy, precise, and devastatingly effective. The plan they devised was pure genius, relying on deception, timing, and the SEALs' unparalleled expertise in maritime operations. The core of the strategy was to sink the boats with explosives or engage in a massive firefight on the open sea. Instead, it was to disable them before they could even start their engines. The SEALs would use the cover of darkness to infiltrate the cartel's staging area, secluded bay where the fleet of 98 speedboats was moored. These boats were the lifeblood of the cartel's Pacific operation. Taking them all out in one night would cripple their trafficking capabilities for months, if not longer. The team selected for this mission was a small detachment of SEALs, highly experienced in underwater and coastal operations. They would be inserted miles offshore by a submarine. From there, they would travel to the target area using their specialized underwater delivery vehicles, or SDVs. These are essentially mini-submarines. Quiet and almost impossible to detect, perfect for sneaking into an enemy harbor. The final approach would be a silent swim, with the SEALs using closed-circuit rebreathers that produce no bubbles, making them virtually invisible in the dark water. As night fell on the Pacific coast, the operation began. The SEAL teams slipped into the water, their faces painted, carrying only the essential gear for the mission. The tension was immense. The bay was crawling with cartel sentries, armed and on high alert. Any mistake, any stray noise, any unexpected flash of light could compromise the entire operation and lead to a bloodbath. They moved with the patience and precision of predators, swimming just below the surface, navigating through the maze of anchored boats. Their targets were the engines. Each SEAL carried specially designed tools. The plan wasn't to use loud explosives. Instead, they used a method that was both silent and irreversible. They systematically went from boat to boat, 98 of them in total, and methodically sabotaged the outboard motors. They didn't just cut a wire or pour sugar in the gas tank. They used techniques to cause catastrophic engine failure at the moment someone tried to start them. Imagine the scene. Dozens of highly trained commandos working in complete silence, in the dark, underwater, surrounded by enemies. Disabling an entire fleet, one boat at a time, It's an extraordinary feat of skill and courage. The SEALs spent hours in the cold water, moving with painstaking care. Every creak of a hull, every distant voice from the shore was a potential threat. They had to work quickly but silently. The sheer scale of the task is hard to comprehend. Disabling one boat under these conditions is tough. Disabling almost 100 is a monumental achievement. They worked in pairs, communicating with hand signals, ensuring every single boat in the flotilla was visited and neutralized. As the first hints of dawn approached, the team completed their work. They had successfully sabotaged all 98 boats without raising a single alarm. Their exfiltration was just as clean as their infiltration. They slipped back into the dark water, swam back to their submerged rendezvous point, and were picked up, leaving no trace they were ever there. They were ghosts. The morning after was when the brilliance of their plan truly unfolded. As the sun rose, the cartel members began preparing for their smuggling run. They loaded their boats and jumped aboard, ready to fire up the powerful engines and race across the ocean. Then, one by one, they turned their keys. Instead of the roar of high-performance motors, they were met with sputters, clanks, and the sickening sound of metal grinding against metal. Engines seized, pistons shattered, and propellers refused to turn. Panic and confusion spread like wildfire. Not one or two boats were disabled, all of them were dead in the water. Their entire multi-million-dollar fleet, the pride of their logistical network, was rendered useless in a single night. From a safe distance, surveillance assets watched the chaos unfold. The cartel was completely blindsided, had no idea what had happened. Was it a mechanical plague? Sabotage from a rival gang? They would never suspect a handful of American commandos had silently swam in and surgically dismantled their entire operation from right under their noses. The aftermath was a massive victory for counter-narcotics forces. Cartel's Pacific route was effectively shut down. They lost not only the boats themselves, but also the massive investment they represented. More importantly, it sent a powerful message. No matter how remote or well-guarded you think you are not safe. It demonstrated a new level of capability and reach. The psychological impact on the cartel leadership was just as significant as the financial one. Operation Enduring Friendship is a masterclass in asymmetrical warfare. It wasn't about brute force. It was about intelligence, stealth, and precision. It showed how a small, highly skilled team could achieve a strategic objective that a much larger conventional force could not. They didn't sink a single boat in a way that would cause a major environmental issue, and they avoided a direct firefight, saving lives on both sides. They simply outsmarted their enemy on a grand scale. This story rarely makes headlines, as operations of this nature are often classified for years, but it stands as a testament to the ingenuity and courage of the Navy SEALs. It's a reminder that the most effective solutions aren't always the loudest ones. Sometimes the most powerful weapon is a quiet, well-executed plan. It's a story of how brains, bravery, and a bit of underwater magic completely dismantled a criminal empire's naval force without firing a single shot. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as incredible as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing stories of military history and special operations. Let me know in the comments what you think about this incredible mission. Till next time, stay curious.